Hello and welcome to my psychic journey in whatever it was called. They told me my psychic journey through the years. I had to look it up. This is the first one, and what I'm going to do is to channel, and so I'm going to ask my spirit guides, and I don't know which one will talk through me first, but they say that they're going to tell you about my psychic growth through the years. I was born in 1942, Midsummer's Day, June the 24th, 1942. Having said that, I'm now going to let myself go into a trance-like state, and whoever's going to speak through me about my life coming into the body of my mother, etc., they will tell you, because obviously I was an infant and it's not in my consciousness, it's in my deep subconscious, and they'll work with it and they'll tell you about why I came or whatever, I don't know, until they start talking. You're hearing me talk, this is my normal talking. When the spirit guides take over, the intonations, tones of way I'm working, talking will be different. So you'll see that, okay? So just give me a minute. Hello. I am the one that most people think has come from out of the darkness into the light. But I am in truth all that is. I am the way of the oneness. I have been born into this world through all, that is to say, all who are in form. You can call me the Great One, the Creator, all that is, but you can understand I have to have a personality, don't I? I have to have something that you can understand and know. So I take the form of an old man so that you might understand that life is a treasure, and no matter what you are doing, you will find yourself enjoying your life, we hope. Now, let us begin with this child's life. It was not begun on June the 24th, 1942. It was born in a century before. You see, nothing is just turning up unexpectedly. There's always a plan, and that plan is always determined by the emotional and mental conflicts of humankind. If I say to you that you are part of the oneness, then I want you to understand you are. There is no separation between each of you. Consciously you believe there is, but truly in the nature of spirit, you are connected. Your family has long been connected to you throughout many years, through much time, and in very many manifestations of materialism. One could say you have ancestors who have been, shall we say, printers, slaves. They could have been in different countries, but wherever they were connected to you. And wherever you were, yes, you were connected to them. So, now, let's think about that. If everyone is connected together, then everyone knows something, don't they? And if everyone knows something, their point of view on how they share it can vary, can it not? So that is the beauty of growth. Question. Constantly ask yourself, who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing? Is this convivial to my way of being? Or am I disturbing the force within me, which in turn could be disturbing the force of all that is, the oneness? So what is the oneness? The oneness is a complex energy that is constantly shifting. All that is known is mathematical. In other words, we say, there are no explanations, just energy. And energy can be used in any way. You could use this energy to heal yourself or to tell yourself you will tear apart and be lost and forlorn and miserable. But why would you do that? Why would you try to block the divine energy of the oneness to grow and evolve and become something much more? We say to you now, be ready for change. Everything that you want to do will transform the world. You are a part of this world. You are important to this world. That's why you're here. You would not have been born otherwise, would you? So see yourself as more important. See yourself as someone who has something to do, something very important to do. What is important may seem trivial sometimes, but a little influence goes a long way to making changes in the future. I am here to tell you of this woman's journey. I have many lives. Yes, which one would you like to see? Well, right now I'm the old one, and that's enough. But remember, you are connected to me. Now, let's begin this girl's story. Long ago, times that you can't recall, this energy was formed, and informed was given consciousness, expression. It was not defined beyond that. One could say one is a child. And yet, here we do. We repeat it time and time again. How many times have you been born? You wonder how many times you have learned something. You wonder. How does all that you have learned come together? How does it do well for you or bad for you? Nothing is really good or bad. It is simply an experience, a time when you put yourself through the loop, as it were. A time when you tested yourself. And if you think about hundreds of lives that you have lived in various ways and places, having various opportunities to smell, taste, touch, explore this world, then surely you must understand that your consciousness of everything that you have done must build within you, within your soul, within your vibration of all that is, so that everyone in some way can learn from you. So now, we will begin this woman's story for you. 200 years before she was born, we prepared her by watching ancestors, looking at what they were doing, understanding the changes each of those people made, giving opportunities to varieties of different things that you might like to do. Freedom of will. No one is told appear, do A, do B, and be C, and do more and more and more. It is the individual who in birth decides who they want to be. But there is a plan. Yes, no one is born alone. Each has a team. You call the spirit guides, we call ourselves fragments. Fragments of unification. We can come out and display ourselves as I am now, or I can simply step back and let her be, but not now. This is a time when we need to understand that you need us. And so we come to you with our information, by example. All things done by every individual are in the records of all that is. Nothing is forgotten. Everything transpires, transforms. Nothing is the same, yet choice, opportunity gives you variety. And when it gives you variety, you look at things with your physical eyes and you ask yourself, do I need this? Or, this is wonderful, how can I get it? Or, I don't want this, it's rubbish, I'll walk away. Whatever you decide, it's your choice, and we will not interfere. But when you ask, when you call to us, when you question, when in doubt, when in fear, we are there. And when you are lost, we lift you up. How many of you have been lost? I think all at some time. But know that being lost is part of your growth. And having experiences in any form is a stimulation to make you aware of your presence on earth. And so when you were, sometime before birth, looking at your wonderful, wonderful ancestors who bore their troubles, their worries, their anxieties, and who rose above, yes, rose above, beyond, and found an alternative, are your living examples of truth. And though the days may change, days pass by quickly, but ultimately what you find is you are transformed, you become better for the experience of negativity. And when you have achieved greatness, the joy of your soul is felt by all of us, and we in turn celebrate your experiences. Why do we come? Because we are your team, and as such must support you and help you through the dark and the light to find the unity and the balance. So now that we talk about this woman's prior awareness of her ancestors, you must understand that in the oneness with us, her ancestors are encoded in us. And as we are part of her team, You must understand that her life is encoded in us. And so we are able to bring forward the journey, often forgotten, awakening it, to inspire, to stimulate, and to bring forward knowledge and wisdom to you who now listen. We look now at this woman, her birth name, Margaret Patricia Pogson, born to Patricia Edith Pogson and Charles Aubrey Pogson. Does that sound important? Of course it does, but no, it isn't. It is a name. It is a beginning. But how did it begin? Her mother and father united in love. You know these things. But you have not understood that they united in love before they were born within the wombs of their mothers. And so in time going back, each of you has ancestors' memories. They are deep within the old brain. And you can tap into it when you want to. How far back do you want to go? It could be confusing. You could be lost in imagination, illusions and fantasies. We prevented this from happening in this child, Margaret, for we bonded in the womb before birth. Yes, you too bonded with your spirit guides and the soul group. You are never alone, never will be alone, and in future, when you are passed to us again, we unite and you will still never be alone. When you walk down a lonely pathway, we are there. Your spirit guides are there. You must listen, you must learn, you must understand from your spirit, from your soul, from your indications of experiences that we are there. So now, let us begin. Hello. I'm Sister Teresa, and I've been with Margaret ever since she was a tiny little baby. When she came out of the womb, I was the first one to wave at her and talk to her and help her to move her body. I was a nun once upon a time, but you know that's not important to you, is it? But what is important is that you understand that every child that is born has a guardian angel, and that was my job. That was my job to make sure she was safe. The time of her birthing was not convenient for anyone. You know, the world was at war. Everyone was ill, miserable, suffering. Indeed, her mother was suffering. We won't bother about the suffering, but we will say that everything that this child experienced in the womb was a setup for her future years to come. Being born to a mother who was in pain set the motion in her soul to carry pain. And it was my job to be able to help her overcome so much pain and joy in its place. I could give her sensibility. Yes, it's very important, you know, to have sensitivity and then sensibility. So, when she was born, it was not a good time. The bombs were coming. Yes, every night, night after night, bombs fell. And it was an incredible time because she had arrived. And in that happening, energy was protecting the hospital by us. And in the following hours, she did her first homework. She allowed us to be in her body. And so, when the nurses came, we healed them through her tiny little body. It was an incredible moment for bonding and unity in the oneness. Now you might say, why am I emotional? Well, in those years, I was her spirit mother, and I will be that until she's back with me. And so, I am known by her as Sister Teresa. You should understand that you have a spirit mother too. And if you allow yourself to meditate and relax, you can awaken that memory. You can feel the love that your spirit mother has for you. It never dies. It is the oneness love. It is all that is in acceptance. So, when Margaret grew up, I was there, guiding her, giving her a lot of advice. I am also tied into many others that she knows, because when I'm helping her, I'm helping you right now. So if you allow yourself to feel me and enjoy me just looking at me. Hands give love. Hands give healing. But heart gives soul. On that night, bombs exploded all around the hospital. She didn't know. Her mother knew. They thought, this is it. We won't survive. But we helped. We helped. And many others who died that night helped. Helped to make it possible for her to live, for her mother to live, and for her father to live. For while he was at war, he was wounded that night. You see, things happen at the same time. It's a unification. It's a coming together. It's a sharing from the beginning. So, whoever your parents are or were, they did exactly what needed to be done for you to be here, to be loved or to be passed away, to be discarded, to be adopted, to be something more than you ever dreamed you could be at that age, an infant, locked in a tiny body, But the miracle of your birth is the miracle of movement, of allowing yourself to wriggle and cry and be hungry and be looked after. Oh, life is a beautiful thing when you think about how perfect each of us is. Yes, even a baby that's not 100% is perfect for the journey that childhood made, and for the child to receive attention and experience things. Nothing is ever a mistake. I'll leave you now. Remember me. I'll be back. It is my turn now. I am called Cornelius, and I have been with her for the entirety of this life and many other lives, and I am part of her team who teaches through her. I've come here today because I want you to understand that you are a part of her team, if you are listening. So how big is a team? If you think about Rome, where I first bonded with this woman, you may realize that thousands of soldiers marched under the command of Roman emperors. It was my job to keep a record, to understand how commerce was productive in those times. Today, there is not too much to say that is different, but rather to say it is simply used in a different format. You are still dealing with thousands of people who are connected to you, who are, in their own way, feeling a need to change the world. In Roman times, the life that I've chosen to use in this life to help Margaret was my job to keep a record. In this life, my work with her is to help her understand the records of the world's changing. I am a historian, Cornelius Tacitus. You can find me, read about me, understand that I am here to help you all. This is the first time of channeling that we have done in public for you. We will continue by taking experiences of her life. On that day of her birth, we saved her life. The bomb dropped across the street, away from her. You might say, how could we do that? Energy, pure energy, an apport, if you like, to move a bomb in the air from a direct hit to another area. Yes, we can affect anything that you do in your life. We can bring about changes, but we cannot do it unless you give us permission to do it. Our bond with this child gave us permission, and throughout her life we have been with her, teaching her to be a medium and ultimately to become a professor in a field where no one would recognize her skills and her talents. Now I say to you, this is her time. and we will be speaking through her on several occasions. Expect not us all to be the same. There are many of us, and we will speak and talk about her life and the things going on in the world. Those things that you understand are happening will make a difference once you understand why. And so now our time is up, and we will leave you. Thank you for listening. Oh, okay. I'm kind of not here and here. Let me get myself focused for a minute. I'm coming down off the high vibration, getting my breathing back to normal. You probably noticed that when spirit guides are talking through me, they change my breath. I know it has something to do with the energy of my brain, and when I go into a trance-like state, I'm not me. I'm their thoughts. I know I have a body, but it's not my body, it's our body. And so it's a whole different concept of channeling that many people don't understand. And I think probably through time, as we do this channeling, these messages about my life, whatever they're going to say, I have no idea. I'm not controlling it. I don't plan anything. I don't prepare anything. I just sit here in front of this screen and let them speak. So this was the first. This was the, they said this was the beginning. So I assume my birth. And I'm going to end it here because we're over time. And I would love it if you would put some comments under the video when we put this up on Facebook or anywhere else that you happen to find it. And I'd appreciate that. And if you have requests, like you'd like me to channel a particular entity, I can do that. So, you know, whatever spirit wants to do, I'm sure they'll come through me and speak. So for now, I want to say thank you for listening. Hope you'll make those comments and do share. Thank you much. Bye-bye.